so good to be back on my channel, guys. Tommy the Hammer here, coming back at you, motherfuckers, my ever-faithful audience. Welcome back to Neon Trash after a week hiatus. It really feels good to be back online, and I thought we would kick things off with a beer review and a movie review. You guys know how much I love RHINEGEIST Cincy beers.
Here.
They've got a brand new one, at least new to us. And this one's called Andromeda, you know, kind of like the old Michael Crichton story or the movie. I don't know if that has anything to do with this beer whatsoever, but it's a pale ale.
Imagine that!
Oh my word! Yes, what a surprise. This one, it doesn't seem like it's really high in the alcohol content, 5.7. It's, you know, nothing really to write home about, but, you know, strong enough to kick things off. So we're going to go ahead and taste test it together. Are you boys excited about this beer?
Fuck yeah!
Oh, yeah.
I'm some bitches.
Yeah, I'm always curious about what RHINEGEIST makes.
Well, the last one that we
I'm
tried...
curious about the dark color scheme of this, too.
Oh,
yeah,
what was
yeah.
that? What was that? Something or other? What did we try?
It was the Christmas-themed RHINEGEIST Dad.
And it sucked.
It was...
Bird hair, if I remember correctly. Never forget that one. It was memorable. I don't know how good it was.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. That's got kind of a fruit smell to it.
Fruit
Kind of.
snack.
Dale, what do you think of that stench?
Let me get a fruity beet smell.
Yeah. Oh, appetizing.
Yeah, it
A
does.
fruity beet smell.
Sour, a little sweet.
Definitely a sour.
A sour fruit. Let's see here. Initial thoughts are, damn, that's pretty good.
Whoa!
Interesting.
Wow, that's really good.
That's
No
really
super
fucking
bitter
good.
finish. What is this? Nice. 48 IBU, so it's not ultra puckering, but just
No.
enough.
I mean, it's got a hint of hops, but it balances out. It doesn't, like, overwhelm you.
Well
Too.
balanced.
And I could see drinking this pretty much all night. You could get like a 6 of this and polish it off.
Very drinkable.
Jim Jam Jibberoo.
And eventually, you get so wasted, you feel like you're catapulting to the Andromeda galaxy.
Whoa! What exactly is the Andromeda Galaxy?
It's some other galaxy out there. It's kind of like the Milky Way, only a little different.
Isn't that the one that's the closest to us?
It is, yeah. It looks like an elliptical disc.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then this beer, Andromeda, is perfect for tonight's theme because we are going to be reviewing an out-of-this-world sci-fi feature from the early 1950s. Bing! Holy shit! It came from outer space, and I must have pulled this out of my ass.
You say.
Yes, that's right, guys. We are going to be checking out the black and white sci-fi exploitation flick, It Came From Outer Space. I've never seen this, but according to old Grizzlebeard McDangarees over here, it's a 3D classic, right?
Yes, very much so. It's actually one of my favorite sci-fi 50s movies. And I actually, the first time I saw this was back in like the early 90s. My dad, when I was a kid, my dad took me to it was like kind of like a double feature re-release. It was this movie and Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D. And so I got to have like the full experience. And man, it left an impression on me.
Well, without further ado, I've got the trailer for you motherfuckers. Peep it. You know how we roll. We get back. You're going to know our opinions on the motherfucking film. It Came From Outer Space. Whoa. Well, we just got done watching It Came From Outer Space, the crazy early 50s 3D sci-fi black and white.
Definitely fun.
You know, I like the movie. I feel like, honestly though, I mean, there was a lot of moments where I feel like this movie was just spinning its wheels though. Like, in typical 50s horror movie fashion, it's a product of its times.
Very much.
And movies from that era, I mean, they were looking at, you know, the subject matter on display with starry eyes. Pun intended. People watching movies like this back in the day in the theaters, I'm sure they were just awestruck. You know, they were, you know, watching 3D movies. The prospects of going to outer space blew people's minds. I mean, this is well before we landed on the moon. So, I understand why there was some wheel spinning, but today, 2019, in retrospect, you're looking at the movie and there's a few times that I'm just like, let's go, you know, interject some fucking speed to this process here. But overall, I felt like there was a lot of creepy moments. There was definitely some mood.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of
atmosphere.
positive and negative imagery. I liked it. Dale, what did you think about It Came From Outer Space?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was a slow burner, yes, but that's how someone went with it. You had to explain everything, and you had to walk people through it if they didn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. The great reveal was really nice. It had almost a Lovecraftian aspect to it, of the creatures from other worlds coming down and us not being able to understand them. But yeah, it was decent, but yeah, it could have went a lot faster. But we had a great time watching it.
Oh yeah, a blast. Johnny boy, what'd you think of it, Rocket?
I thought it was great. It was slow burn because that's the style. It was 1953, right? So that's the way it was back then, and it's a great time capsule of that era for sure.
Very much.
There was a few scenes. The cinematography in this was so great. Like no frame was wasted in this film at all.
No.
The sets were great.
Right.
And some of the shots, like I'm about to have some of these frames painted. Like seriously, like some of the shots in this were like so surreal and creep-tastic. Like, wow, yeah, they really did a great job of giving you the willies, you know.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed watching this thing. This was great.
Adam, you've seen this movie about 3 times now, revisiting it on your 3rd attempt. What do you think of It Came From Outer Space?
Well, ultimately, I definitely agree with what you guys have said. I know that there are some slow parts, but it's just kind of in my view, it's kind of necessary for the narrative buildup. You know, like what Dale mentioned, dude. I mean, the creature effects for this one. I mean, it's a freaking awesome alien, dude. I mean, there's some.
Gross.
Oh yes, I mean,
Gross.
yes, it's amazing, dude. I mean, like, it's crazy.
Amazingly
Which kind of,
gross.
which, you know, you can't. Which, you know, some 50s films, they don't stand the test of time. The creatures in this movie
are
they're
still
amazing.
horrible to this day.
Yes, they're horrible.
They really are.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
And what's
60,
beautiful about
70
it
years
is it
later.
just kind of underscores the
Large.
whole theme of this movie, which is just like, you know, relating to how we fear what we don't understand, and how, you know, if it's a realistic, you know, discussion of if humans did come into contact with extraterrestrial life, they'd be freaked out. And, you know, I'm gonna, you know, go off on a tangent here because we're very close to Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and in a weird sort of a way, I think this movie kind of touches upon themes of just sort of like, you know, understanding and tolerance. Because ultimately, the aliens in this film, they're benevolent. They do things which kind of raise suspicions, and, you know, throughout the film, it does a good job of, like, making you kind of unsure as to what their intentions really are. But it's like, you know, ultimately, it kind of deals with our fear of the unknown. And in a weird sort of way, it's almost like a reverse of, you know, the traditional formula of, like, humans going to an alien world. This time, it's aliens crash landing on what for them is an alien world. And it's almost kind of like, you know, it helps if you think of the movie Avatar in a way, like in terms of looking at this movie, in terms of like, you know, the aliens approach to things because they have to like abduct humans and look like them and all that. They sort of like, you know, pass, you know, unseen to sort of repair their spaceship and all that.
And we've seen a lot of movies of this ilk, you know, growing up. You know, at the end of the day, we got to give it a star count. Adam, what would you give it? It Came From Outer Space.
I'd have to give this movie an 8 because of just, yeah, like what Tom mentioned, you know, the plotting might be slow at times, but ultimately I think it pays off. It all serves a purpose in terms of contributing to the grand narrative. The special effects are amazing, like what John mentioned. The shots are amazing and all that. I mean, it's a very creepy movie. It's very eerie, and the fact that it's shot in the desert sort of just, you know, adds to the whole ambiance of the film. But because of the very complex themes it tackles, I mean, by the way, this is an expansion of a story that Ray Bradbury wrote, who was a great sci-fi author.
Shout out to Ray Bradbury.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But just because of, like, you know, it's more than just, you know, your typical crazy 50s sci-fi flick. It's actually expands upon deeper themes which are very relevant to human nature. So for that reason, I'm awarding it 8 out of 10.
Rocket,
something about it came from outer space. This movie was meant to blow your mind. It did for me. No. But it did entertain me quite a bit. It was. Alright, that's it. Alright. I'm gonna take this for the time capsule snapshot that it is and give this guy an 8.5.
Whoa! Yeah.
I really liked it. I think, I don't know, for what it is, the product of its time, if you will, this is great. This is blockbuster cinematography. This is what you're going to the drive-in to see back in the day. Like, yeah, this is, I don't know, golden era drive-in movie theater type stuff, and I don't know, it's classic and awesome. 8.5.
Awesome. Dale, lay it on us, man. What'd you think?
Alright, I think this movie was alright. I wouldn't put it real high up on my favorites. It's not bad. I've seen many of this era film. So,
Give us some suspense!
give it a 5.
5! Yeah. 5 for the
I
drive!
like it, but it's not amazing. So,
Fair enough. You know, I'm somewhere kind of in between that perspective. I liked this movie. I thought, you know, honestly, like when it comes down to a lot of black and white movies, a lot of the younger generation today view them with a sense of boredom. For me, though, I feel like this movie kind of exceeds that. And, you know, from my point of view, I'm going to have to give this a solid 6.5. It's a lot better than some of the crap that we've seen throughout the years.
Well, yeah, there's
That's
some
what
bad.
I'm talking about
Yes.
with the cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it helps you forget that it's black and white.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it does.
they really do a good job with their contrast and work with what they had in the technology back then to really make things pop as much as they could.
And putting that aside, I love black and white films. I just feel like with this one, it's definitely a sign of the times, and the pacing issues slow it down for me. So if you can get past some of the more sluggish elements,
Well, I'm here.
this movie is actually a winner. So give it the time of day, folks. And honestly, guys, I really hope we've been informative to you. Until the next time, tune in to Neon Trash. Peace, motherfuckers!